It's been over 2 months since the Model Context Protocol from Anthropic got released. And I have to say that the hype was not all buzz. I'm still using it every day. I'm trying out new servers and I'm still optimizing it. And my Claude desktop experience has become so powerful with my MCP workflow. So today I'm going to share some tips and tricks that I've adopted with my own daily Claude usage, and I think you'll benefit from at least one of them. In this video, we'll cover custom instruction improvements and how to update MCP servers the easy way without the command line. Okay, so starting with custom instructions. If you've watched any of my earlier videos, you know I'm a big fan of custom instructions, especially after my MCP memory video where I showed you how to add the memory instructions into your personal Claude settings. The thing is, while these instructions work really good on Claude desktop, I'd see them attempted to be used on Claude on my iPhone as well. And that's a problem because MCP servers only run on desktop for now. So I started tweaking my personal Claude instructions to be smarter and more effective. I'm going to share that with you now. To get there, you just go to your settings and you just press configure Claude settings. So the first thing I added was about text truncation. I'm sure you're familiar with this. You know when you're iterating with Claude on either text or code and it will give you the most annoying lines ever, rest of the file remains the same. And it could also be detrimental if you're working on large files and it has file system access. So I've added this line here: always provide complete untruncated versions of code and text updates unless explicitly requested otherwise by the user, by me. And I found that this helps a lot. It doesn't solve it all the time, but it definitely reduces the amount that I get that message and I get longer responses. But I'm sure you're aware Claude also has really strict usage limits. So doing this might close your context window a little bit and you'll hit those rate limits faster. But I think it's still better to get a full chunk of text or code without having to go back and forth, or maybe get your whole thing deleted. Let me know if you have a better way, but this has definitely improved the truncation with Claude. Okay, so now to the MCP stuff. So the first thing I added is this line: the following instructions apply only when tools/MCP servers are accessible, because on iPhone they're not accessible. Now, the first thing I did is very similar to what I showed you in the memory video. I kind of messed with it a bit, but I pretty much said memory comes first. The main change I added here is that if any new information was gathered during the interaction, ask the user if they want to be saved, and if so, update your memory file as follows. And the reason I did that is I don't want everything being saved by Claude. Sometimes it's just like a spur of the moment query or something I'm doing, and I don't need that to be put in my knowledge base. So now I make Claude ask me, do you want this to be saved to your knowledge graph? And I think it's much better. After the memory settings, I also have file system instructions. I tell it explicitly which directory it has access to. In my case, it's on my desktop in a Claude MCP directory or folder, whatever you want to call it. I also have the Git MCP Server installed. I added this line that's connected to the file system, pretty much saying whenever you modify the directory in the file system, so whenever you change this folder, make a commit message and commit the changes to Git. So that way I can look at all the changes that happen there and I'll be able to revert. And I found this also really helps me a lot. Okay, then I just tell it whenever available, use sequential thinking, use Brave search for research, validation, source citation, etc. So these settings have made a huge difference in my workflow. I'm still tweaking them, but I definitely see a huge improvement. I'm going to share a link to my GitHub with these custom instructions that you can download and tweak and make them your own. Let me know if you have any improvements or any ideas that I should do to make mine even better. So now let's talk about updating MCP servers. Now, MCP servers are not updated automatically, and I think that's a good thing, but sometimes you'll want to get the latest version. So for example, the file system server, that's the one we installed in my first MCP video, recently got this update. So basically the file system got a new tool, the edit file. Anyways, how do you update your MCP servers? So it's not like regular apps. There's no button to just do it. And I've got a few messages about this. I know the command line is scary, so I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing it without the command line. The first method is really easy. I'm going to show you how to do it right now. All you have to do is you go into your config file, your Claude desktop config.json file. Then you come here, at model context protocol server-puppeteer, and you just do @latest. So then you save your config, then you restart Claude by just killing it and starting it again, and you'll see your tools get updated. It's basically pulling the latest version from npm or whichever package manager you're using. And by the way, in a previous video I also told you how I often will now commit my latest config.json file to Git. It's really easy. You could even do it in VS Code. You could do it via terminal commands. In this situation, we're not going to commit to Git, and I'll tell you why. Because after we've updated our server and we see that's working, we're going to come back to our config and we're going to delete the @latest. And the reason why is we don't want it to always update the latest version. Some people might, but in most cases, you only want to update when you know it's worth the update, when you know you want something there. Sometimes there's breaking changes there, and I think it's better just to remove the @latest. So you add the @latest when you want to update, you save, you quit Claude, you restart Claude, it downloads the latest version, and then you go back to your config file and you remove the @latest. The second method of doing this without the command line is really straightforward as well. You just take the entire MCP server and you delete it. You'll save your config file. Again, you'll open up Claude, and you'll quit Claude, and you'll go back, and you can even just undo what you did in VS Code or however you're editing your config file, save it again, and reopen Claude, and it will download the tool, but it will download the latest version of the tool. So this methodology takes a few more steps. What is actually beneficial here is if you've been committing your latest changes to the config file to Git, and you delete it, you could just restore it that way as well. If you have extra parameters, like you set a path, for example, like I did for the memory or anything else, it's saved to Git, so you don't have to reconfigure it. But if you don't do it, just remember to copy what you had down before, then you can paste it back in there. So you're able to pick up where you left off and not have to reconfigure everything. So there are so many MCP servers, clients, and tools coming out every day. Believe it or not, my favorite MCP setup is still my Ultra Claude search tool that I showed you in this video, and I actually do prefer it over Perplexity and ChatGPT with search. I find that combining sequential thinking with web search just improves the outputs so much more than just a generic AI search tool. I actually teach AI and tech in person, but since we've been traveling for treatment, I've been having a lot of fun making these tutorial videos. So if you're using any cool MCP servers you think I should check out, or you want me to explain something, let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please drop a like and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. Thank you for watching and have a great day.